Welcome to Health Club with Julia. I'm your host, health coach, and registered dietitian, Julia Campagna. I'm on a mission to bridge the gap between looking your best and living your life to the fullest. After years of over dieting, struggling with disordered eating, and destroying my social life, I finally found how to reach my dream physique without sacrificing the things I love. Now I'm sharing all my strategies and education with you. We'll be talking all things health, including hormones, metabolism, and lifestyle to help you cut out the confusion and start living. So get cozy and join the club. Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. As always, so happy you are here. Today is a good one because for all my ladies out there that skip breakfast, I am calling you out in this episode. We are going to be talking about how to win a healthy hormone breakfast. Let's be real. I want you to virtually raise your hand if you are someone who you wake up, maybe you have some sort of morning routine, but before you know it, you're running out the door with your cup of coffee and you are heading out to work and you skip breakfast, right? You're just like, I don't need to do that. I'm not going to eat right now. It's too early. I'm going to fast. And so you just skip breakfast. Usually, I would say 8 out of 10 times I see that with women. It's very common to just run out the door without breakfast. Whether that's intentional or not, sometimes it's unintentional and, you're just like, I'm so busy in the morning and then I rush around and I have to leave for work. And sometimes it is intentional where you're like, okay, I'm just going to fast because I need to lose weight. That's usually what happens. You have your cup of coffee on the way to work or at work. You skip a breakfast and then you have something for lunch and then you're really hungry for dinner, but you go the morning without eating anything. And it's so, so common. But let me just say that is not the healthiest thing that you can do for your body, especially your hormone health. And so if you're someone who is also looking to, this goes for all women, but especially if you're someone who is looking to improve your hormones, have a regular healthy cycle, an easy, carefree period, you need to be having a proper breakfast. It is a non-negotiable. You should be doing this every single morning. And we'll talk about how to prep if that is your problem that you don't have enough time. We will talk about that, so no excuses. But I'm going to kind of give you some tips on what winning a breakfast looks like. And it's not just, let me grab a cup of yogurt or a hard-boiled egg and that's my breakfast. That is not breakfast either, sweetie. So we're going to go over what that actually looks like and what you should be doing and how to do that if you do have a busy schedule. So first things first, winning the morning, we are not going to skip breakfast. We are going to actually eat within 60 minutes of waking. Ideally, you want to be eating within, I'd say 30 to 60 minutes. 60 minutes is fine. But within an hour of waking, this is going to be your ideal time. So reason number one, this does help with your blood sugar levels in the morning and throughout the day. You are breaking a fast. Break fast, you are breaking your fast. Think about it. Let's say you go between 6 and 8 hours of sleeping. Okay, even if you're on the low end of that and you're getting 6 hours of sleeping, you're like, I'm only fasting for 6 hours. Hopefully you are not eating and falling asleep right after you eat. Odds are you're probably eating a little bit earlier, doing some nighttime stuff, and then you're going to bed. So even if you're getting a full 6 hours of sleep, you're probably still adding on another 2 to 3 hours at least of fasting before you are asleep. So that 6 hours can easily turn into 9 hours of fasting, and that 8 hours of sleep that you got could easily turn into 11, 12 hours of fasting. So you need to be breaking that fast. That's a long time for your body to not have any food. And yes, you are sleeping, and so you're not moving around and doing as much, but your body's still working when it's sleeping. So we want to break that fast, and we want to help that blood sugar early and throughout the day. So this will definitely help you with your blood sugar levels in the morning and later on throughout the day. When you start by skipping breakfast, you are impairing your blood sugar regulation, and that also does affect you as the day goes on. It's like you're hopping on a roller coaster in the beginning of the day, and you're just going for that roller coaster ride all day. That's what it's like when you skip out on breakfast in terms of your blood sugar. Who wants to get on a roller coaster first thing in the morning? Not me. And you shouldn't either. So let's not do that. Let's not have a blood sugar roller coaster all day. Let's really kind of help with our blood sugar levels throughout the day by eating breakfast, ideally within 60 minutes of waking. This also does give you more energy. Food is energy. If you look up the definition of a calorie, it is energy. And this is what's going to help you feel more awake, feel more up to going to work, getting you through your morning at work. This is what's going to help you give that energy. If you are somebody who sometimes have breakfast in the morning, maybe on the weekends, and then during the week you don't, think about it the next time you do this. Hopefully you don't continue to do this after the episode, but think about your energy levels. There's a clear difference in my energy levels when I don't eat breakfast first thing in the morning and when I do. If I have my first meal, because sometimes this does happen to me too, I try to avoid this at all costs, but sometimes on the weekends I'm like, I gotta get my errands done, and then I'm not home until like 11 a.m. and then I'll have breakfast at like 11:30. When that happens, I am like dragging through my morning. When I get up, when I have my breakfast, I can go pretty much all day without feeling a crash. I just have so much more energy. So it does also give you more energy, and it gives you brain power. Your body, your brain needs to have some fuel to work. And so if you want to have the most cognitive benefit and cognitive health for your day, eat your breakfast, don't skip it. You're going to feel a lot better brain-wise and functionality-wise, like you're going to have less brain fog, just more clarity throughout the day if you do have breakfast. So that as well. Also, not to mention, you have nutritional needs. You need to eat a certain amount of food to hit your nutritional needs. Vitamins, minerals, energy in the form of calories. You need to hit that. Every human has nutritional needs. If we didn't and we did not hit any of our nutritional needs, it would be a sad day for all of us. And, we as a human species wouldn't be here. So we do have nutritional needs, and by skipping breakfast, it's a lot harder to hit those nutritional needs. And therefore, again, you're going to be feeling more like shit when you don't hit those nutritional needs, when you are not getting in your vitamins, your minerals, the energy that your body needs to perform just at rest. When you are not doing that, you're going to feel a lot shittier, I can promise you that. And so by skipping out on breakfast and fasting until 1 p.m., it's a lot harder to hit those nutritional needs. Now, again, I will say, for some people, fasting does have benefits. For a select few people that have specific disease states they're working through, even men, it's not as bad as it is for females because we do have different hormonal things going on. Men don't have the fluctuations that we have, and so for us it's a lot more important than men, and also for a select few it may be important depending on what medical things you have going on. But for a general population, general women, it's important to not fast. You need everything that I have already mentioned, and also again it does help you hit your daily nutritional needs. This also can cause some overeating later on, and I'm sure all of you who do skip breakfast can say that this has happened one time or another, probably more than one time, probably very often actually. I know for a fact that we can all agree to this, that by skipping breakfast you are hungrier later at night, and sometimes that does lead to things like a binge or just simply overeating later in the day. So for all you ladies who are like, I'm gonna fast because I want to lose weight, and then you come to the end of the day and you're like, I'm starving because I didn't have anything until 1 p.m. Then you eat everything in sight and you have like a mini binge, and you're just ravenous and want to eat literally everything. You're kind of negating the fact that you are eating less through a fasting anyway if you're already like going and having a mini binge at night because you're so hungry. Odds are you're probably having more calories than needed doing that than if you just had breakfast. So it does cause some unhealthy behaviors with food, with binging, and can also have you overeat more later in the day, which also, again, negates that calorie deficit that you're looking for with fasting. And I do want to mention, too, with this, like not skipping breakfast, it doesn't have to be a giant meal. You don't have to have a full-blown meal. I get that sometimes you wake up and you're like, I'm just not that hungry until 9:30, 10 a.m. And I can hardly get anything down because I simply am not hungry and I feel like I'm force-feeding myself. Like, I get it, okay. Some people are not hungry first thing in the morning. It doesn't have to be a giant meal, but I would advise you have something in the morning, even if that's just simply a protein shake that you bring with you or a smoothie. It's very easy to have and bring with you and have throughout the morning. Have something. It could be something small. It could be something that's not like a full-blown meal, but you need to be having something. And I would still have it be more than just like a hard-boiled egg or a cup of yogurt. Like, I mean, with a cup of yogurt, I mean like the packed cups that you just grab from the grocery store. Like, if you're gonna have that yogurt, at least add granola, add chia seeds, add peanut butter, add fruit, add something to that to bulk that up a little bit more. But again, it does not have to be a full-blown meal, but you want to have something in your system within 60 minutes of waking. So that's the first thing that we need to discuss is simply don't skip breakfast. Eat within 60 minutes of waking up. Okay, moving on. Second piece on winning a hormone healthy breakfast is protein needs. So let's talk a little bit about that. We want to have roughly 30 grams of protein at breakfast. This is going to give you sustained energy. This is going to help stabilize your blood sugar. This is going to reduce your cravings, and it's going to help with your satiety. So protein is the most satiating macro. It's going to help you feel fuller for longer, so you can have, if you're having 30 grams of breakfast, you might be able to go all morning and then have your lunch at a reasonable time instead of having to snack in between. Like if you're not having anything, number one, or you're having a really low protein breakfast, odds are you're probably going to be hungry, like really hungry by the time lunch comes, whereas if you're having more protein, you can probably go until lunchtime and feel pretty good without being like, oh my god, I'm ravenous. So that. But again, it does help stabilize your blood sugar. Basically, your biggest blood sugar spike is going to come from carbs. So we don't want to have naked carbs. Things like plain oatmeal is not the best option for a breakfast. We want to have protein to help balance that blood sugar and stabilize it so you're not having as big of a surge and as big of a crash in your blood sugar. And like I said, it does help with sustained energy. Protein is a macro and it is going to give you more protein. It is also, in terms of digestion, the rate of digestion of food, it takes the most energy to digest protein, and so you're going to have more of that sustained energy. It's not a quick digesting food like a simple carb is. You're going to have more sustained energy because it's going to take longer to actually digest that protein in your body, so you're giving more sustained energy throughout the morning. So some examples of high protein breakfast. You can have eggs, but if you're simply having 2 eggs, there's only 6 grams of protein per egg. So if you're having 2 eggs, that's only 12 grams of protein. So I would add either egg whites or add some cheese in there, or you can add extra eggs, or you can have some breakfast meat like chicken sausage on the side. That would be great. But I would bulk it up a little bit. Don't just have 2 eggs. Have something else with protein in it if you're going to have eggs. You can do, like I said, a protein shake. We're having protein powder, milk, other things, fruit, veggies in there. That's an easy way to get in 30 grams of protein because typically 1 scoop of protein is anywhere from I would say 20 to 25 grams of protein. So if you're adding in other things like peanut butter or other things with protein in it, Greek yogurt to help thicken the smoothie, you're getting probably 30, if not more, grams of protein with that. So a smoothie is a really great option, or a protein shake, either one of those. If you're going to have overnight oats or oatmeal in general, if you just love to have that, like I said, plain oatmeal by itself is going to give you a bigger spike and crash in your blood sugar. We want to stabilize that a little bit. So what I do is I either add protein powder into my oatmeal, or I'll top it with some Greek yogurt, or have Greek yogurt on the side, or eggs on the side. So you want to have some sort of protein with that. But there's a million things that you can do, making breakfast sandwiches, which we'll talk more about this with prep, but there's a lot of things, but those are just some examples right off the top of my head that you can do to get in more protein in your breakfast. The third piece of this is coffee. You may have heard this before, but having coffee after a meal is ideal for hormone support. Coffee is not a meal. I don't know how many times you have to be told this, if you have heard it before, but sister, coffee is not a meal. You're not getting all the nutrients from your cup of coffee. So you need to be having something with that. Coffee can actually strip nutrients and affect absorption of nutrients as well. So a little side note there too. If you're just having coffee and you're like, this is great, I'm just having my cup of coffee, you're actually going to be stripping nutrients and affecting the absorption of certain nutrients, and therefore not meeting your nutritional needs if you are simply just having coffee. Or, having coffee in general can do that, but especially if you're just having coffee, not great, not ideal. It can also impact your cortisol response, so it can increase your cortisol at times that it shouldn't be increased. So our cortisol is highest in the morning. It is called our cortisol awakening response, where it kind of surges in the morning and then it gradually comes down throughout the day. So if you're, up, waking up, whatever, doing your thing, it's spiked, it's raised the way that it should, you're using that cortisol properly, and then it starts to come down throughout the morning, and then mid-morning you have a coffee, you're seeing an increase in the cortisol again, where we don't want it to be. So it can increase your cortisol response, especially without food. Again, food is going to kind of help that a little bit, stabilize that, but without having any food with it, you're going to have a bigger cortisol response with that. It can worsen PMS symptoms as well. So obviously, if you don't want to have PMS, if you're looking to heal your hormones, this is one of the things that you're going to want to limit, and also just simply don't have before food. Don't have it on an empty stomach. And again, here, I want to mention, I'm not sitting here telling you that you have to cut out coffee. You do not have to cut out coffee for good. You just simply want to be more mindful of it. Have your breakfast and then have your coffee. Or have your coffee while you're having your breakfast. But you don't have to cut it out. You just have to be mindful of how you are using your coffee and your caffeine. Or, secondary to that, you can have coffee but bulk it up. I used to put protein powder in my coffee to get in some protein to help with my, hormone response from drinking coffee. So you can add in protein powder. You can do, what is it called? A bulletproof coffee, where I think bulletproof coffee has like MCT oil in it. There's other like herbs that go into a bulletproof coffee. You can do like salt and butter and some protein in that, or collagen in it. You're just bulking up your coffee, kind of almost mimicking a meal with adding stuff to your coffee. Or if you just are having coffee in the morning because you like the routine and the ritual of having coffee, you like the taste of coffee, another idea that you can do is have decaf coffee first. If that's the first thing that you really love to do and you don't want to stop doing that, that's fine. Go ahead, have your decaf cup of coffee while you're getting ready, or whatever that routine looks like for you. Then have a meal, and then you can have a caffeinated cup of coffee after to help you wake up a little bit more, or if you need some caffeine support, then you can do that. But I would have decaf first if you just like the routine of it. Again, going off the routine, if it's more of a routine thing than an energy thing, there's other drinks that you can have to keep that routine. You can do tea instead of coffee. You can do a matcha, which yes, does have caffeine in it, but it is not as potent as coffee, and it has things like L-theanine in it that's calming, so it helps your body calm down. So you just have a better response through matcha. You can do chai tea lattes that I love to do. So there's a lot of other beverage ideas that you can have. Adrenal mocktails would be great. There's a lot of other things that you can have. If it's more of the routine thing, that you can just do a new routine or same routine with a different beverage and still get that same effect of having that routine, if that makes sense. So those are some of the things I would say with coffee, and trying to not have caffeinated cup of coffee before having a meal. And then again, like I said, I know that for some people you are busy and waking up and kind of just like running to get ready for work, and then you're out the door. So what I would say here, if you are someone who's like, I just don't have breakfast because I simply run out the door in the morning and I don't have time to sit and make breakfast, great, let's prep. There's no excuse. You can easily prep a breakfast, bring it with you, have it in the car, whatever you need to do. When I was in my master's program, I was interning, and my internship was an hour and a half away from me. I had to do that every single day, drive an hour and a half, and guess what? I had to leave my house, not even like wake up, I had to leave my house by 5:30, 5:45 every morning. Guess what I did? I made overnight oatmeal, protein overnight oatmeal, and I literally would have that on the drive over to work. I would have it before even getting to work, or I would have something and then have that at work, but I would prep my breakfast and have it in the car or bring it with me. My crisis was averted, and you can do the same thing. Prep is easy, you just have to do that. So one idea is overnight protein oats. Love that. I love overnight oatmeal. Again, we want to add some protein to it, so easiest thing for me was to add protein powder. It is so good. Some people don't love that. I love it, but overnight oats, great option. You can easily prep breakfast sandwiches, which is also another great option. All you need to do is get like a tray with sides. So like a cookie baking tray usually doesn't have high sides on them, but get a tray that has sides in it, like a brownie pan or something like that. You can have a longer version of a brownie pan, but something like that, a long rectangular cake pan, anything like that that has sides. Pour some egg whites, eggs in there, mix it all up, do like a scramble, pour it in there. You can add vegetables to this, bell peppers, broccoli, spinach, cheese. You can add all your toppings as you would for an omelet. You put that in a tray, you pop that in the oven for a few minutes, it cooks, then you get toast or bread or an English muffin, and then you put that egg on it. Once it's cooked, you put the egg on it. You can, again, add some cheese here if you didn't in the thing itself. You can add some turkey sausage or turkey bacon or chicken sausage, any sort of like breakfast meat like that. Wrap it up in tin foil or parchment paper if you're looking to live a little bit lower tox without the tin foil. Pop it in the freezer. In the morning, all you gotta do is wake up and put it in the microwave. Easy peasy, done. Easy breakfast that's high in protein, easy to carry with you. All you need is a microwave to heat it up. That one's super easy. Another idea is a smoothie or a protein shake, which I kind of went over already, but bulk that up a little bit if you're going to do a smoothie. Add in fruit, vegetables, Greek yogurt, peanut butter, protein powder. Just bulk it up a little bit with more nutrients and you're good to go. That's really easy to bring with you. Even with smoothies, another idea with smoothies, if you're like, a smoothie is easy for me to bring, but to make it, I don't even have time to make it. Get all the ingredients that you want, put it in a plastic baggie, put it in the freezer. In the morning, all you gotta do is open up that plastic bag, toss everything in the blender, blend, and you're good to go. It literally takes 1 minute to do that. I wouldn't say like do peanut butter and put that in the freezer, like just put your peanut butter in it later in the morning, but like everything else, or Greek yogurt, I would say probably just add in the morning, but everything else, put it in a baggie. All you gotta do when you wake up is literally dump the bag in the blender. 1 minute later, you got a smoothie on your way to work. So those are 3 ideas that are really great ideas to have. Very simple, very easy. Honestly, don't take a lot of time to make beforehand either. So prep your breakfast and bring it with you. No excuses here. But those are some things that I wanted to mention with a hormone healthy breakfast and how to win a hormone healthy breakfast. First of all, don't skip breakfast. We are not making excuses out here. Don't skip your breakfast. Prep if you need to. Have 30 grams of protein at your breakfast. And please do not drink coffee before your food. Have it after. You'll be fine. Those are all the things that I want to mention with winning your hormone healthy breakfast. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you liked this episode, leave a review, leave a comment, like the podcast. And again, I appreciate your support. That is everything. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. If you loved the episode, share the podcast and tag me, and subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM. Thanks for being a part of the club. See you next time.